Hey folks, it's Jonathan with Tar Heel Smoke. Today we're going to be doing a really simple cook on some baby back ribs. I picked up these two racks from my local supermarket. They were really cheap. I think I paid like 25 bucks for both of them. And we're not really going to do much to these out of the packaging. As you see, I'm not going to take off the membrane. Feel free to do that if you want. Get a paper towel or something and just rip it off. Your choice. But I'm going to leave them on today. And I'm just going to clean these up really quickly with a paper towel and cut off what other random weird bits there are. And we're just going to get these seasoned right away. The great thing about baby back ribs is that you get a lot of meat on them. They're definitely most people's favorite choice for ribs because of that. They don't have quite as much fat. They're a lot leaner than spare ribs, for example, just because of where they are in the rib cage. And you can tell the difference by looking at the bones. Like on baby back ribs, the bones are curved, whereas on spare ribs, they're a lot flatter. So if you ever are curious which kind of ribs you have, just look at the curvature of the ribs. If they're flat, you've got spares. If they look curved like these, then you've definitely got some baby backs. So today we're going to season these up with a seasoning that I got from H-E-B. It's this sweet Texas heat rub. Haven't tried it before, but it looks great. It's got a little bit of sugar in there and some other spices, bringing that sweet and that heat. And that's going to pair really great with the glaze that we're going to put on these later in the cook. But really simple. Don't need to fuss too much over the prep for these. Again, this is a super easy cook. We're not trying to do anything special here. Today we're going to be using the Weber Kettle with the slow and sear insert. And we're going to be burning B&B oak lump charcoal, which I think burns really cleanly, gives a nice temperature and also a great flavor through that oak. Just going to get this lit, going to get the grill back into position, and we'll be ready to go. I'm not really going to bother waiting for the coals to come up to temperature. I'm just going to get the meat on as soon as everything's lit. But this is really going to help with the smoke flavor in the ribs. The longer they're in there, the better they're going to taste. And there won't really be that acrid, dirty smoke flavor. We're also going to use some water in the water pan. This is just going to help add some moisture to the cook chamber. And today we're going to be using oak chunks in addition to the oak lump charcoal. So it's going to be a really nice, gentle flavor. We're going to get our vents set and we're going to be ready to roll. Okay, this is about 2.5 or 3 hours into the cook, and you can see you've got beautiful color on these ribs already. Been going about 250 around, that's where we're aiming, and I'm just going to go ahead and flip these over. Remember, we didn't take the membrane off, and so any additional cooking we get to the underside is going to be helpful for those ribs. So at about the 4.5 hour mark, these ribs are going to be ready to wrap. Look at the color on them, they look spectacular. So today we're going to wrap them up in some tin foil. Just a single sheet of heavy-duty tin foil with a bunch of butter and some maple syrup. And this is really going to help keep everything moist in there. Remember, these are super lean, so that additional fat from the butter is really going to help keep everything nice and moist and tender. Also, you'll notice I wrap these upside down. We want to put all that good juice where the meat is, not where the bones are. So make sure when you wrap your ribs of any kind, really, to make sure the meat is facing down on top of whatever you're wrapping with your ribs. At 6 or 6.5 hours into this cook, these ribs are done. And you can see from the pullback on those bones looks really great. That's a good indicator that we're finished cooking. But also they were probing about 200 degrees internal. And when you picked them up, they were super flexible and you could bend them really easily. So all those things are great indicators that these are finished and ready to glaze. And you can use whatever kind of glaze you want, whether that's barbecue sauce or any other sausage you've got in your house. But today I'm going to be using a combination of simple syrup and Yellowbird blue agave sriracha, which I've been obsessed with lately, using it on just about everything, but it's also going to pair really well with that sweet heat rub that we put on these ribs. So get that glaze on, and we're going to get these back on the grill for maybe just another about half hour. So our ribs have been resting for about half an hour after I pulled them off the grill, and they look fantastic. That beautiful red color. The surface is tacky and sticky from the glaze that I let tack up in the grill for about 20 or 30 minutes. put a couple additional coats on there. Now we're going to slice these up. And I really like to slice them from the backside of the ribs just so you can see where the bones are. It's a little bit easier to get things cleanly cut. But you'll see when I pick this up, the smoke ring on it is awesome. They're super juicy, very tender, and they taste amazing. These are really great ribs. Just a little bit of bite to them, so they're not super overdone, but they look great. This rack's definitely a little bit more done than the other one, but that's all right. Falls off the bone. It's a little bit difficult to cut because of that, but they're so delicious. Give these ribs a shot. They're super easy, and let us know in the comments how it goes for you. See you next time.